I would firstly like to invite out to the stage Nicole Johnson from Nevada's. If she could please come out. Where is she? Up the back. Here she comes. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm from Novartis, and on Table 7 is the Novartis team, and we just wanted to say and express how grateful we are to be here with you all this evening. And in particular, we would just like to say a very big thank you to the SMA community, and in particular, Julie, to you. The last 3 years has been like an incredible roller coaster, and we have absolutely enjoyed working with you over these past 3 years. And in particular to the community, we really thank you for everything that you have done. You've been an amazing support, and it's because of everybody in this room who's made such a difference to SMA. So we're really grateful. We hope you have a wonderful night. And also as well, thank you so much. And if you'd like to come up and speak with us, we're on Table 7, and thanks again so much.
Thanks, Nicole. Now I'd like to ask Andrew Corbett, please, to come out from Biogen. Thanks, Andrew.
So, first of all, I just want to thank Julie Singh for working with us all of these years. It's been 5 years bringing products to market, and it's one of the things that I think when I joined Biogen, it's a real gift to work with the SMA community, and Julie helped to work through that process and understand what we needed to do. It's a team effort to bring things forward. I think it's not just one person, it's us, it's the community, it's patients, it's everybody, and of course Julie. But above all, I just want to thank Julie and wish her best wishes on next adventure as well. And cheers to the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Now I'd like to welcome Monica Ferry. And please allow me to read a little bit about Monica. Monica is the CEO of GSNV, which stands for Genetic Support Network Victoria. The GSNV is statewide and serves all people with genetic, undiagnosed and rare conditions, and those who support them, hence the connection with SMA. Monica's work is underpinned by clarity and strategic direction, values and principles, and is developed with a focus on education, advocacy and support. Both Monica and Julie Sini have built a beautiful relationship over the years, and I'd like to welcome Monica Ferry to give us an insight to perhaps how this relationship became. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Simon. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a student of history, and Monday, as everyone knows, is Anzac Day, where we acknowledge the sacrifice and gifts from those who've gone before. It's a special day for me, but strikes me as having some parallels here tonight. I'd like to read a paragraph from the famous poem In Flames Fearless that always gives me pause to reflect on my sacred pact with the past and responsibilities. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in flames fields. Now, Julie's not leaving through dying, thankfully. But the pact and the responsibility of carrying on, of taking up the service and fight remains. When I first met Julie, she told me about the bucket list man And I'm not sure who else knows this story, but I'm going to share the bucket list man story. It was a workshop that Julie had attended where the point was to create your own bucket list. Julie was confronted by the fact that her bucket list wasn't like everyone else's bucket list. Her bucket list contained one thing only. Julie's bucket list had to die and be with her family. I've never forgotten that. The bucket list man challenged her to create a list of what she would want to have done before she ticked off the list, which she did. And here we are. With Julie's long list of achievements ticked off. And thankfully, as she's gone along, she's added more and more things to her plan before she ticks off that last one on the list. It's a real privilege to be here this evening, and I'd like to acknowledge Julie's role as part of the SMA community and as part of the genetic undiagnosed and rare disease community, and as a friend and support to me. You all know what Julie's achieved, and you will know how important her contribution has been. Children will grow up, families will flourish, and people will live their best lives because of Julie. Living with SMA in Australia today is totally different than the landscape of 20, 10, 5, and 1 year ago. Julie, on behalf of your community, thank you. But with Julie, it's not just about SMA. Julie has consistently and so generously supported the transfer of knowledge to benefit the broader rare disease community, to support me in my organisation's role, to support those conditions and groups that don't have a Julie, where the voice isn't loud enough or the cost can't be borne by individuals and families. Across the support group sector, SMA is envied because of Julie and Julie's work. Because it's really hard to tirelessly advocate, to fight continually, to smile in interviews, to get up in the middle of the night and go to meetings. It's hard. But because our broader community has Julie as an example, and her work as a map, and her heart and time given so generously, we are all stronger and we are all better at our work and who we are. Julie, on behalf of the genetic undiagnosed and rare disease community, thank you. Finally, Julie's been an unbelievable support to me. Her questions and challenges have made me better in every way, and to work with her has been an absolute privilege. Somewhere along our journey, we moved from colleagues to friends. Friends who will remain committed forever to building a better world. We are not people who want small challenges. And I couldn't imagine a better journey partner. Julie, thank you for our friendship. We've learned over the years that even with a force like Julie, no one can do it alone. We need the echoes of the past, the motivation and challenge of a better future, and people who are prepared to pave the pathway that they and everyone else will walk together on. It's never been about one person. It's always been about changing the world together. And that journey will continue for Julie and I, and I'm grateful each day for that privilege. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica. Now, it brings me now to our next guest out to the front. Tonight I'd like to ask Naomi Jojo to say a few words on behalf of Julie Seaton and what she's been able to achieve. Naomi has been an advocate for SMA for many years now and has helped produce the outstanding design work and branding that everyone sees SMA represented by today. SMA has been very close to Naomi's heart, and I'd like to ask Naomi to share with us some amazing stories that she has witnessed and been a part of over the years. Please welcome Naomi.
Thank you. I'm a true believer in the saying, people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I first met Julie in 2014 at a business networking event. She walked straight up to me, warmly introduced herself, and immediately made me feel at ease in an uncertain environment. Back then, I had not had any experience in networking, but that was soon to change. I started working with SMA not long after, and in 2015, I was given the honour of rebranding the charity. During that time, I have partnered as the brand designer for SMA across all branding, messaging and marketing to champion all of the major milestones that Julie and the charity achieved for the SMA community. 2018 started the major push for brand awareness to gain the Australian government recognition and funding, and playing an integral role in the creation of the dedicated SMA app, the website and the carrier screening campaign has been truly phenomenal. It has been, without a doubt, the most incredible opportunity to work with Julie in a professional capacity. But it is the personal friendship that I treasure most. Julie's personal story floors each and every person when they hear of how she lost both of her baby girls and partner in the space of 2.5 years. And yes, it is indeed a very tragic story, but it is how Julie channeled her grief into creating Spinal Muscular Atrophy Australia to champion the plight of all Australian individuals and families, which has been her life's legacy. Julie has taught me about resilience and humility in the face of adversity. I have personally witnessed the daily roller coaster of emotions she has faced as she works tirelessly and often without wages to fulfil the goals she has aspired to achieve. Julie possesses a formidable grit and resolve like no other, and yet she goes about her daily pursuits with quiet determination to get the job done. 2022 marks an incredible year for both of us, as Julie's position as CEO will come to an end, and she will be transitioning to the next incredible phase of her career, and I will be right there by her side. We cannot wait to bring a new global initiative to life. The launch in a few months' time will be such a monumental achievement for Julie, and I am super proud of her. Julie came into my life for a reason, and I know that we will be friends for a lifetime. Montana, Zali and Ross are here with us all this evening. They are on their feet, ready to give you a standing ovation. So without further ado, please welcome Julie Seaton to the stage. And Simon and I would just like to give something to Julie.
It's the hardest thing I'll ever go through. And I'm sorry if I have a few tears. As 3 Brian wasn't built in a day, and I feel so excited that leaving a legacy is a marathon, not a sprint. Well, that marathon started 18 years ago when I had my first daughter, Montana. She was a perfect baby until at the age of 3 months when I heard the devastating news. Take a child home up until she dies, there's nothing they can do. You have 12 months with your child. Like any parent, I was numb. I was in denial. What had I done? What have I done wrong to deserve this? In her short 10 months, she taught me a lot. The process taught me a lot. It taught me to treasure every moment. It taught me to take one day at a time. It taught me unconditional love, and it taught me how to fight for what I wanted for my child. The journey hasn't been an easy one. After starting SMA 6 weeks after Montana died, I recommend that to anyone, by the way. We had a huge first 5 years, which I volunteered my time for, from our home. It was originally in Haywood and then moving to Melbourne. And we slowly got bigger and bigger, and then in 2009, we moved into a small office in Beaconsfield. And from there on, we raised about $300,000 a year, we, as in me and one other at the time. And yes, you see SMA is perceived as this big organisation. Right now, for the last 2 years, there's been one, and that's been myself. So it's this big illusion that there's this big company out there. There's one person. I wear many hats. I wear the hat of the fundraiser, the social worker, the support person, the financier, the advocate, the conversation person to the parliament. I wore every single one of those hats. We had a little bit of a stumble in 2015 where SMA nearly died. We had no funds coming in. It was just slowly going down. I wasn't paid for 6 months, and what were we going to do? I called in my beautiful friend Simon, who is a strategic marketer, and I said, we're done. And he helped us turn it around, and we did a couple of different campaigns, and we got SMA thriving again, and I can't thank Simon enough for that. In 2016, we turned our hand to advocacy. And, that advocacy included treatments. Treatments were coming on the horizon for SMA, and it was an exciting time. We've never seen treatments in the world of SMA before. These treatments could save babies from dying. And for me, that was really important because, those conversations that I had with those people all those many years before, I had to let people down of how their child was going to die. This is life-changing for the SMA community. I knew nothing about advocacy, but I had a swift on-the-job learning education about the reimbursement system here in Australia. PBAC, the Pharmaceutical Benefits Advisory Scheme, was my new best friend, my favourite new word, and I learned everything I could to be able to successfully pull miracles out of the hat for the SMA community, and that miracle was access to treatment. We successfully held our first event in Parliament in 2017, where we invited MPs to come along and be educated about SMA. We invited everyone. A family with a baby called Angelique knew that we were having this event and they knew how important it was. And they actually sent a note to Jenny Morrison, Scott Morrison's wife, and the note said, drop everything, go to that meeting, you need to see about this community. And Scott came that day, he sat, he listened, and I'm sure that he walked away, well, I know that he walked away a different person, and he started making the necessary changes that would eventually happen over the next 4 years. And they include the provision of a genetic screening program called Mackenzie's Mission, which will start in November 23. That SMA was recommended to be added to the National Newborn Screening Program. We're just currently working with each state who funds the program to deliver and have successful programs in their own state. We had the approval of 3 treatments: Spinraza in 2018 for those under 19, Aristi for those under 19 in 2021, and 2 weeks ago, Zolgensma for those under 9 months of age. And yesterday, Spinraza for adults. In the last 12 months, I knew I was really close to finishing my marathon, but I just couldn't cross the finish line. And last month, everything slowly just fell into place. I went to budget announcements in Canberra a couple of weeks ago, where I was proudly acknowledged for my 18 years service to the community by not only the Prime Minister, the Treasurer, but also the Health Minister. A very proud moment indeed. It was my dream that no matter what stage of your SMA journey, that there was an option for you, and that no family would ever have to hear those words, "Take your child home, love it till it dies." I'm pleased to say that my marathon was accomplished yesterday with the announcement of the positive recommendation of Spinraza for adults. And to the adult community, even when you thought I wasn't working for you, I was. Every single day I had my bum to the ground and I worked for you. I recently had a conversation with Jo Watson, the Deputy Chair of PPAC, and I asked her, what other disease has had this much success in such a short amount of time? And she said to me, no one ever has done it. Now that's what legacy is made of. I leave you here tonight. This is my last event. I've resigned from SMA. I'm moving on because I've achieved absolutely everything possible that I can to date. As Naomi said, I'm into a global space. I need to do this for other people all around the globe and let them feel the love and the support of what the SMA community has had here in Australia. And I thank the people who believe in me enough to support me in that venture. There are so many people that I need to thank throughout my time at SMA, to all the families that come each year. Your support never goes unnoticed. From the Crockers, who've been to absolutely every single event that we've had, every single gala, the O'Neills, the Hendersons, the Griggs, Jodie and your friends, I thank you. Without you, these events would never happen, and we couldn't celebrate our achievements every year without people coming along. To the 3 pharmaceutical companies, Biogen, Novartis and Roche, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you all and being trusted with vital information for our community. I can't wait to continue working alongside you in the global setting. To my closest friends, Naomi, Simon, Di, Monica and Glenn, you have dropped everything to be here tonight to help me run this event, and I'm very grateful for your support in the past, present and future. And to my family, Ross, Montana and Zali, I can't wait for the day when I see you and tell you I fixed it. I cannot wait. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, welcome to our first Facebook live feed. It's a little bit daunting sitting here and have the cameras rolling in front of my eyes. Hope everyone's gotten their information and they can start campaigning to their local federal member. We're talking federal members, not state members here.
Yes.
Just call proceedings to order. I'm Anthony Byrne, the federal member for Holt. Welcome to our federal parliament and committee room 1R1. It's a very important day today, not just for the parents, the children, those that are associated with spinal muscular atrophy. But for your cause, one of the things that I think that is absolutely critical that comes out of today, from my perspective, is increased awareness, particularly amongst legislators, amongst the medical profession to some extent, about SMA.
I do know that I promised my children before they died that I would try absolutely everything possible to change the way that people saw this disease here in Australia. And I think today is a culmination of, that work that we've been doing over the last 12 years. And, we're very lucky that we're able to highlight that today. I am so proud and excited to announce that the PBAC have decided not only to recommend type 1 SMA for treatment, but also type 2 and what they have classified type 3A. And basically that means if you are 18 years or younger, you will have access to this treatment. And that is a phenomenal result to start with.
And so with SMA Australia today, we are announcing that we're going to invest $327,170. It's a very specifically priced campaign, this one. They've clearly done the work right down to the last dollar to make sure it's going to do all the work that is necessary for a spinal muscular atrophy awareness campaigns, and this is important, to support GPs, health professionals and parents on SMA.
Also here today is my very good friend Greg Hunt, who is departing politics but who can hold his head very high after an incredible job as Health Minister. He has with him today a very special guest, a lady called Julie Sinny, who is the founder and the CEO of Spinal Muscular Atrophy Australia. Julie tragically lost both her children to spinal muscular atrophy and has led the charge to list Zolgensma on the PBS, a life-saving and a life-changing drug, gene therapy to treat infants under the age of 9 months. Last night, we listed this drug on the PBS at a record $2.5 million for a one-off treatment. This is the most expensive drug Australia has ever listed on the PBS. It will save 30 children a year, and listing drugs like Zolgensma and last night Trodelvy to treat breast cancer patients is only possible because of a strong economy. And I would like to join you in acknowledging Julie and thanking her for her amazing advocacy to have this drug.
In the chamber, with her hand up, is Julie Sinny. Some years ago, Julie lost not just one child, but 2 children, Montana and Zali, to SMA. And she's been a campaigner ever since. She campaigned for the listing of Spinraza, which this Prime Minister listed and which this Treasurer extended for treatment of SMA. Last night, a medicine called Zolgensma was listed by the Treasurer. This medicine is now on the PBS. It would otherwise cost $2.5 million, beyond the reach of virtually any family in Australia or around the world. And this medicine offers a potential near cure for SMA. For children under 9 months, it means that they have a chance at a full life, at a rich life, and that will be a legacy that is left not just by those who are on the benches here, but by Julie and all those who have fought for Spinraza, Zolgensma, Mackenzie's mission. These are the practical things that we do. That's what we're doing. But Rachel and Mackenzie, Julie, Montana and Zali, they are the reason, they are the why, that is why, and these are the people for whom we do what we do.